This is the podcast, not an interview. This is a conversation. No gimmicks, just reasons. 84 reasons. Come holler at me. What up, everybody? I am Big Truth. This is the latest installment of 84 Reasons. No games, no gimmicks, just reasons. I know everybody in Florida right now going crazy over this documentary. It's supposed to be coming out. We don't know who's going to be on it. But I can tell you one of them dudes, that was one of them dudes back in the day from 06 to 09, got there in 05. St. Petersburg, Lakewood, man, played for them Raiders, Panthers, Giants, Bucks, 49ers, even them Orlando Apollos. Now, listen, man, if you want a tropical smoothie, man, I know they got Bahama Mamas and all these different things, Kiwi Queen. This man is self-advertising right now. Could be
Make sure you go get that, man. Make sure you go get that tropical smoothie.
Tropical smoothie. The great Louis Murphy Jr. What's going on with you today, Lou?
Man, nothing, man. Another day above ground. No complaints. You know, no complaints on this end, man. Just steady getting out there, man. I actually just left the store. Tropical Smoothie, St. Petersburg, Florida, 4621 34th Street South. Come on down, grab you a smoothie, grab you a wrap, grab you a flatbread, whatever you want, man. We got all the healthy food options for you.
Listen, speaking of promotion, man. I mean, this man, former student athlete. I'm a former student athlete. Put your money with them student athletes' minds, hearts, and bodies are. Go to Florida Victorious, man. Make sure and type in 84 Reasons in the coupon code to take 20% off your first month's membership. Yes, if you say you love Florida like you say you do, become a member. Go to Florida Victorious. Type in 84 Reasons in the coupon code. Get 20% off your first month's membership. You decide what membership it is, but make sure you support them student athletes. Now let's get back to the episode. Lou, I gotta jump into that though. I'm online one day, right? I said, all right, let me see what Lou doing. I see you cutting the ribbon. Yeah. I see the tropical smoothie. Talk about that business side, because that's the part people know you as Louis Murphy, two-time BCS national champion, which we'll get into. But Louis Murphy, the businessman, how did that come about, man? And it's got to make you feel good. Know you got one in your hometown.
Yeah, man, it feels great, man, to be able to bring a healthy option to the south side of St. Pete. You know, we don't have really for years, man, growing up in St. Pete, there wasn't any healthy eating options on the south side. So we had McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, KFC, Church's Chicken, Popeyes, those types of things, man. But we didn't have anything to help. We didn't have anything on the south side, man. So that was, being able to bring a healthy food option, uh, you know, semi-fast food dining to the community, man. It's been a dream come true. To be able to invest, in myself, in my own business, and looking at expanding, looking at scaling up, opening more locations throughout Florida. And yeah, man, it's been awesome, man. It's been awesome to be able to create jobs for young kids to work in a safe environment. It's been great, man.
Even bringing that full circle. St. Pete, boy, I see you repping them Bucks right now. I got to play for them.
Yeah, man. I worked out this morning, still ain't got a chance to get back home, man. So, worked out this morning and definitely repping those Bucks, man. Definitely a Bucks fan.
But when you think about your life, man, we'll get into a little bit with everything Louis Murphy had to endure from a young boy to a young man to a fully grown man. When people come in the store and they say, "Man, you Louis Murphy," and you know them by their first last name, you know who their parents are, because the athlete, man, it was in you, right? That's really just overcoming whatever I got to overcome from where I'm from to where I'm going. But to see you now saying, "Man, I'm providing jobs, I'm providing healthy eating options," and I didn't have to say, "Hey, man, y'all come out here to this, gentrified area in St. Pete." No. I grew up on the south side. I'm gonna put them on. I always say, you want people to eat healthy, put it where they at. You can't force them to go out there to the burbs. It's got to make you feel good knowing, look, Hey man, y'all know where the Popeyes at? You know where the KFC at? Yeah, I'm right around the corner from that. Come up, and it's got to make you feel good knowing people. Hey man, I know. Listen, I know we call it the hood from where we from. That's just what we say. But you doing it, and you didn't have to leave. You had to leave to get your money right, come back. But to know, hey man, I'm still over here in the South Side, man. I might live out here, but I work right here.
Yeah, man. It's really surreal, man. It's really surreal because coming where we come from, we don't, I didn't have any business acumen. I didn't have any, guidance on, early on, to what to invest in, how to, save your money. I didn't even know how to pay taxes, I didn't even know taxes come out your check. You know how it is. You get that check, man, on Monday or Tuesday at your sitting on your locker, and half of it's gone. I had no financial literacy at all, man. So to be able to run a business, a successful business, in my own hometown, and provide, and then as you know, grandmama, then we grew up on collard greens, chitlins, hog mogs. Diabetes runs rampant in the Black community, African American community. um, the greasy foods, clogged arteries. I just had a homeboy, man. He only 47 years old, just had open heart surgery, and I've been telling him about, hey, bro, you got to eat healthy, man. You got to eat healthy. So I'm just putting my money where my mouth is because I know that, we do have a healthy product. That we do give out, whether you want to eat chicken or you want to go plant-based. We offer plant-based chicken as well. So, you know, to be able to do that, man, it still hasn't hit me yet. Like it's still kind of surreal that this is what I'm doing. And not alone, creating jobs. My first job, I worked at the rec center. I was making $5.75 an hour. All my high school kids just went back to school, so we had to rehire and get some more people for morning crew. But they start off at $12 an hour. And to see, one of my athletes that I was coaching at Gibbs High, his first check, he had $800, and it's in 2 weeks, and he came in with some Yeezys, like some Yeezys, like he spent like $650 on them. So the flip side is also teaching the young players, hey man, you don't get $800 and go spend 700 of it on some shoes. Like, you need to put 75% of it up, live off the 25%. You living with mom and dad. Just little nuggets that I didn't have growing up. So just trying to teach them that way too. So it's like a full circle thing for me. And I'm, and what better place to do it at Tropical Smoothie to, promote healthy eating.
How has that expanded your circle? Because anytime you become a business owner now, you become a part of that circle of other people start coming to you saying, hey, Lewis, we know of you as a player, but look, we want to invite you to this business, expo, just so you can tell, because no matter what, most people in business, they grew up wanting to be businessmen and women. That's what they've always wanted to do. You said, look, man, what I learned in sport helps me, because I was in that 33% tax bracket, and I played in California and New York, to where they take all your bread. I said, look, man, I ain't even pay child support when I was in the league. I was paying for somebody's kid when I was in the league, because I'm like, but just talk about that, being able to say, yeah, man, I'm always going to get open doors because of who I am. But now I'm walking up in spots to where, oh, man, that's the dude that really own Amazon, or that's the dude that own it. Talk about how your circle has gotten bigger because of what you do now.
Man, I've been able to be blessed to meet a lot of great people, man. A lot of smart, business savvy people that have acquired a lot of wealth over the years. Um, and it's like I say, man, it's kind of surreal, man, to even sit down with a billionaire uh and to see their mindset and see how they scaled their business and what they did to get into it. And then I would say too, um, for all the young players out there, when you get drafted to the Tennessee Titans or the, Green Bay Packers or the New York Jets or whoever it is, um, make sure you go to the corporate sponsored dinners, whatever event they have, because they always asking, how they ask, like, hey, we need you to go to this corporate event, and then a lot of dudes they don't want to go. A lot of people we do the community relations. A lot of the or going to the hospitals or the Ronald McDonald Center, or the breast cancer awareness type of deal. I switched my mindset when I signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and thank God I was able to do 3 years there. But that was my 6th year in the league, and I hadn't gone to a lot of those meetings or events. And some just told me, "Hey, man, I want to go see who's these corporate sponsors." So I remember the first event we sat down. They said that it was only 5 players allowed to go. They couldn't get 5 players to commit to it. So I ended up going as one of the, players to sit down and have a dinner with the top corporate sponsors of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers um, before the season. It was like around this time, training camp, probably about a week out, we had one preseason game left. And I sat down, I went to the corporate dinner, and I was sitting next to Mr. Barnett, and he is a big time Bucks sponsor, and he owns Publix. So public shopping center. So it was like, and just being able to sit down and talk to him and get to know him and his wife and get his number. Uh, and then I was able to meet Troy Taylor, one of the he's a billionaire. He owns the largest Coca-Cola distribution in the Southeast region. Um, so I was able to meet, and then so I just started. Then they had like a poker tournament, so because these people are paying upwards of you know well millions of dollars to put Publix on the side of the stadium. Then they're paying on the low end 200,000 to have a suite at the games. Suites don't come with drinks and food included, so they probably spending throughout 8 games another close to another 300,000 400,000. So being able to surround myself, I switched my mindset. I don't know what kicked on that. I just like, man, I want to go to all the corporate events. So now, so that's been 10 years ago, and I've cultivated those relationships over the years of just talking with guys, and just being friends with them, man, honestly, and just asking like, who's your financial advisor? How'd you get started? And what should I do? XYZ. So that's kind of how I navigated, these waters of being able to open up my own franchise.
Talking with Louis Murphy Jr., St. Petersburg's finest, two-time BCS national champion. Talking business, big business these days, corporate dinners. I was a top pick of the Titans back in 2004. So a lot of my fellow draft class didn't know that I'm going to black tie events. I'm going to, but the difference was I didn't have a choice.
That's another thing. I don't mean to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
They usually only allow like the first rounders and
Yeah,
second rounders to go to these events. So that was another thing I noticed. I'm like, man, why can't I go? Because even when I asked the Bucks to go to that event, they were kind of like, we're looking for the Gerald McCoys, the Vincent Jacksons, the quarterback, Jameis Winston. They looking for those guys, Mike Evans, to go to those events. And I was like, shoot, man. I was like, man, if any way you can slide me in, I'll go, and even dropping that, hey, two-time BCS national champion. Now I can still, link me with a Gator.
That's right.
Yeah. So, So go ahead. So you were privy to those. I mean, you were privy to
No.
those.
You're right though. I mean, and the thing about it is though, Murph, that you keep on saying it too. That I hope people getting it. I had to switch my mindset because when you're an athlete, man, I'm one track minded. I'm trying to make sure, especially in the league, it's different in college. Yep. Now they paying me to do this. I got to make sure I'm on my game, and I hope my body responds. I hope I don't get hurt. All these things on your mind, but then you go into an event and you say, "Wait a minute, man. No, I know I own Publix. What? All of them. Every time you see a Publix, that's me. So wait a minute. I'm the biggest Coca-Cola distributor in the Southeast. What? It's like, and what we hope to find a cheap house for $200-300. That's what I spend. No, I spend that for the suite. That's a suite with nothing in it but people, no food, no drinks, and you thinking that's just to be on the scene and be. I'm only one suite of whatever they got 20, 30, but I got to be up here that way when people. If you want to meet someone, so you got to get a suite. You got to pay to play, and I ain't even on the field. I think that's great because now it's like now when you see these youngins and you telling them, listen, I know y'all don't believe me, but just look at the picture. Look at the people with money compared to the people with money. They don't have on anything but a shirt, some short, real simple. But
you'll never notice.
The people with no money, they got on because people with money go, what is a chain gonna do me, man? I know. I own gold. I own diamonds. I own. And they looking at you like, look, man, the time it takes me to put the diamonds around my neck, man, I'll invest that in my grandchild that I don't even have yet. Big money is different because they've had it for so long. Yeah, now don't get it twisted. Now they got the nicest house in the neighborhood. They got the biggest yacht on the ocean. But you got to get to that. When they want to flex, they'll say, "Oh, you want me to show? I can show off. You want me to show off? Listen, I have my driver come. We don't do Uber. I'll have my driver come scoop you. We'll take you out here. But they only showing you that because they saying we got this young boy. Because no matter what, Murph, you the only one on the yacht can talk that talk when it comes to sports. See, you the only one can do that. Like, hey, so how was it, Murph? Oh man, the flagship University of Florida. Talk about that being able to say, I'm used to talking to kids who want to play in Florida, want to do what we did. But now, Mr. Barnett is saying, so you played for Urban, right? Yeah. You did. It's like you talk about still being really revered by billionaires who say, well, look, man, just like you want to meet me, it took you coming to my realm for me to meet you.
Yeah.
It's still a mutual respect thing, is all I'm saying.
It's definitely a mutual respect, man. And honestly, man, just speaking to the young generation, even the Gator players, young Gator players watch this, man. I know it could kind of be uncomfortable because we're not used to those, those dinners. We're not used to drinking Cabernet Sauvignon. We're not used to drinking Pinot Noir. Like, so, just be yourself, man. Be yourself, and that's one thing I love about football and sports in general. It brings so many people together from so many different walks of life, no matter religion, race, financial standings, and man, I've been able to, get some really good advice for some, really wealthy people, man, and that I could call on, man, and the old saying, hey, when you get a business card, make sure you follow up. Make sure you follow up. And then there's one one business deal or one business opportunity, young rookie, playing out in the Raiders, and to this day I regret it, man, because the dude was like a big fan of mine, and it wasn't that I blew him off. I just was busy, and I didn't understand what that relationship could take me. But I don't even remember his name, but the CEO of Pixar, the ones who did Toy Story and every Pixar cartoon movie, he wanted to go to dinner. He wanted me to come by the studio. He wanted to show me, everything. He had a big office in San Fran, and he wanted me to meet with him, man. And to this day, man, I regret that I let whatever at the time get in the way of being able to cultivate that relationship, man. So that's probably the reason why when I got to the Bucks, I was like, nah, I'm gonna try to capitalize on these relationships as far as like not wanting anything, but knowledge, like how if you wanna be my friend, you wanna show me, or you want me to sign these autographs, you want me to sign this football, sure, I'll do it. But tell me about your CPA. Tell me about your tax guy. Tell me about how do we, how do you make this budget work within the organization and within the corporation? How do you go out and get a loan, a business loan? Like, so I started switching my mind on making those kind of questions. When they ask me football questions, I ask them a business question, and we just go back and forth, and build the relationship.
talking with Louis Murphy Jr., more than just a football player, if you guys haven't figured out real quick. I mean, I'm happy at the fact that you spent your longest time in the league, closest to home. I mean, St.
Yep.
Pete, Tampa, it's right there together. But then you talking about everything you're doing. But which I know you ain't on this documentary coming out, man. But I always talk about glory years in Florida. You got the 90s with Spur you got there, and you got from 06 to 09. And the thing about it is with you, Murph, number one, when them Raiders drafted you, man, I was like, yes, because I got to play for the Raiders, man. That's silver, and it's silver and black for you. It ain't black and silver. It's a silver and black.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the glory years of Florida came around again in 06 to 09. Urban Meyer, right? And you know, when people talk about him, you get a lot of different answers. Is it Utah Urban? Is it Florida Urban? Is it Ohio State Urban? Is it Jacksonville Urban? Is it Antlers Urban? You got hungry, want to make a name for himself. Where the hell is Utah Urban Meyer? This dude is coming from a part of the world that we don't even know where it is. And we got in the first game of the year. But what did Urban Meyer mean and do for Louis Murphy? Because we know he's a hell of a coach, but what did he mean to you?
Man, I know there's a lot of opinions on Herb, man, and nobody's perfect. You know, nobody walks this earth that's perfect. Only one man did. So for me, man, he helped me grow into a man, man. And it's not for everybody. You know, I think we talked about it before. You know, I was raised by a Marine. You know, so the mind games and the yelling and the screaming and the cursing out, uh, I was numb to that. You know, it was like, you know, hey, my dad does this, you know, but he loves me. So, you know, and other dudes come from, you know, different households or, you know, raised by mom or, you know, went to a high school program, private school program where their coaches, you know, was all about positive reinforcement. You know, I didn't know any of that growing up in high school, little league, you know, so college, it was all cool for me. Like I feel like I was ahead of the curve with Urban because I knew he studied. He's a psychology minor, psychology master, and he studied the Marines. And he had told my dad that in our recruiting process. So with that, I kind of already knew what I was gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, son, the way I raised you is gonna be Herb gonna be on the same thing. You know, and was it tough? Heck yeah. Was it hard? Heck yeah. Did I want to fight Herb? Heck yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted. He pushed the buttons. He pushed every envelope, and he's, you know, either you gonna do it his way or you're not, and you gonna know that you're not doing it his way. So, um, you know, me and Herb had a crazy relationship, and he spoke about it in books. He's talked to other teams about it. You know, from me getting kicked off the team 3 times and him trying to lay the law, but for whatever reason, always giving me another chance. Because I was a kid that I pushed it, but I didn't like kill myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't, you know, I knew, you know, where to draw the line at, and you know, I'm thinking, and what he means to me, man, he means the world, man, because there was things that I needed to do better. There was things that as a kid that, you know, I guess what they say is who you truly are is what you do when no one's looking, you know. So there was things when no one was looking, I wasn't living right. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't living right. I wasn't you know, upholding the Murphy name, you know, my parents' name and what they raised me to be. And Herb called it out, you know, and a lot of people can't handle that, you know, facing it, you know, you in the mirror, like having that, you know, that real talk with yourself and telling yourself, hey man, you need to do better. I need, you know, so every time I got in trouble at Florida, thank credit to my dad as well. He always, the first question was, what could you have done better? You know, what could you have done? And then when you start thinking about, okay, I skipped curfew. What could I have done better? I should have just went to sleep. I shouldn't have snuck out talking with my teammates, you know, let somebody else pull me along and get me out, you know, and now they double back and check, you know, curfew and I'm not in my room and now Herb kicking me off the team. You know what I'm saying? It never was like, even though Herb got in my chest, jacked me up, you know, all MF, nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like my dad, like, hey, you know, hey man, if you a soldier in the Marines and you do some crazy stuff, bro, you don't even want to know what's coming
Thanks.
to you. You know what I'm saying? So Herb, do your thing with my son, and you know, whatever you do, you know, I'ma live with it because he made this bed, he gonna live in it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why our relationship was a little different because my father gave him that, you know, hey, he in your hands. Don't call me. You know what I'm saying? Don't call me. You handle it. You recruited him, so you take care of it. And then so Herb really cleaned me up, man. And not saying I was no drug addict or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that. I just, the skipping curfew, egging people dorm rooms, you know what I'm saying, smoking some weed here and there, it was the typical 18-year-old, 19-year-old stuff that we all go through, man. But he had punishment that just was, we'll see in the Netflix series. So I'm sure if they don't show it, they need to, because the punishment was ridiculous.
yeah. But even with that though, Murph, when I got to Florida, man, I used to have some teammates say, "Well, some of y'all gonna have to get that young man about y'all system, and if the coaches got to do it, you ain't gonna like their methods." When I'm hearing you
That's
talk,
real. That's
when I'm
real.
hearing you talk, that young man is strong now. I mean, he's strong. I mean, that young man said, "Come on, Murph, man, you'll be back by the time." You're like, "All right," but then you told me something last time though. I want to make sure you say you had an incident on campus, right?
Mhm.
I think it might be your last one, and you told your pops about it. Your pops said, "You better tell Urban what? You better
Yeah.
tell him." And it's
Yeah.
like, cause your daddy know you. He like, this boy ain't gonna tell him. He like, listen, it's
Mhm.
better that you tell. He's gonna find out anyway. But if you tell
Yeah.
him, it may soften the blow just a little bit because coaches don't like surprises
Yep.
at all. So if he go, "Hey, yo, coach, can I holler at you?" Like, what? Talk about just being, because to me,
Yeah.
that's growth, man. Because just because your dad is saying, "Hey, Murph, you need to tell him," you're like, "Hell no, I'm not. I'm not telling." With everything we done had, he's saying, "No,
Yeah.
this is how you show him, coach. I made a mistake again, right? But I'm different. I'm coming at you. It ain't
Yeah.
Gainesville, son, or
Yeah.
whatever." It's talk about that and how that ended up being like the biggest turning point.
Man, that situation was definitely my third strike. I had been kicked off for fighting, kicked off for missing curfew, and the third one was marijuana possession. And I got a ticket, didn't go to jail. It was 4 grams, and and my dad got the ticket to the house like a week later. They mailed the ticket, and that's when he said either he's like he basically he rolled up the games where he said either you need to tell him, and I'm not gonna make the decision for you. Either you gonna tell him if you because we had hired an attorney, we was gonna get it swept under the rug. But what he said was that, man, if the Gainesville Sun find out, if another coach tell him and you didn't come to him as a man and tell him first, you probably won't, you probably, and he didn't say it verbatim like that, but it just was like, hey, you need to tell him. And the way it worked out is how you said. Like, I went to him as a man on Memorial Day, called him, told him. He said I ruined his day and hung the phone up to meet him. Then he texted me, meet him in his office at 9 a.m. in the morning. And man, I couldn't sleep that night, man. And that's when he kicked me off a third time, took my scholarship. I had to work at Southwest Rec as a referee to earn money to, pay my parents back. And I was off for a good 5-6 months, off season time, and had to earn my way back, man. But it was a weight lifted off my shoulders by telling them. And looking back, life is best understood looking backwards. Like you said, man, like that showed him, even though he might not have thought it in the moment, I didn't think it at the moment, but man, this kid came to me and told on himself, and took everything that came with it. And I mean, when I say it was hell to pay, it was hell to pay. Psychologically, mentally, physically, it was just draining, man. It was just like, it was so bad to where bro, I consider myself a tough dude, man, where I was like crying like a baby, like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was the dude who had to take me through the punishment, Coach Bayless. I don't know what Coach Bayless. I think Coach Bayless is the head strength coach at Notre Dame, and then Coach Frank is the head strength coach at Tennessee Titans. And them two had to get up at 5:30 a.m. to work. Well, really at 4:35 because I had to be there at 5:30 and or 5, depending on how they feeling, you know. And they had to put me through the punishment. So since they had to put me through the punishment, you know, and they ain't trying to get up that early, so they put it on me, man. They put it on me, and then psychologically, you know, they would do stuff like, you know, I had to do that workout, but then come out back and work out with like the walk-ons. So then they'll just like I couldn't, you know, we doing 450 pounds on leg press, and my legs shaking. I already done worked out this morning, so they screaming in my face, all screaming. I'm just shaking. I'm tears coming down my eyes. We done ran stadiums, all that. Then I'll be done with the walk-ons, and then like they'll just be like, Murphy's a F up. Murphy's a F up. Like he's a shit bag. And then they'll just like I can't even walk. They'll take weights off the racks, Cadillacs, 45, 30. They'll just start throwing them around. They'll tell everybody else, throw the weights off, take the weights off, make Murph clean it up. So they all went to the locker room. I'm cleaning up the weight room, and dudes, you know, so now I'm looking at these dudes like, damn, bro, like, y'all ain't have to throw that. I mean, you could take a 5 off a 10, but y'all taking 645s off. Y'all taking both sides. You know how many weights it is at
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
You know, they throwing weights there, and not a weight better not a weight. Every weight better be put back perfect, or you off the team. Everything is you don't do it, you're off the team. You don't do it, you're off the team. So mentally, man, I just felt like after doing all that, it's like nothing could break me, dog. Like I'm like, bro, y'all never gonna break me. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how it was, man. And I had to pay my dues. I looked at it kind of like pledging. Like, all right, cool. This is what I got to do. I got my morning started at 5. I ain't done till 10 p.m. 5 months. Let's knock it out. You know what I'm saying? And I just went at it.
If your dad isn't a Marine, right? Because, you know, you talk about, we all think we tougher than what we are, but you the son of a Marine. Like, you the son of
Yeah.
one, which means, hey, man, all I know is tough love. Like, I'm going to love you, but I'm going to give it, because that's not coincidental. Because when Urban say, I studied Marines, he know what you can take. Now, you one of 85. Now, the other 84, I don't care. Love your B Spikes and Pounds of Twins and Percy and T. They
Yeah.
ain't doing
Oh,
that.
was
They
soft on
ain't
them.
doing that.
Was soft on them. Was soft on them. I seen change before my eyes, man. I seen change, Aaron Hernandez, and all of them, man. None of them, because we was first true class. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So then you would say, and he didn't recruit us. He only had, you know, a month before signing day to really bring us in. So he would always say, like, I didn't bring you here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't bring you here. I ain't recruit you. So he treated us like a stepchild. You know, he just was, you know, and I would like to look at the stats, but I would say out of the 20 dudes that came in 2005, probably only 3 graduated. Everybody else got either kicked out or transferred because they couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll just be like, man, dog, like, there I see my dog packing up in Springs. He's like, bro, I'm gone. I'm like, man, shoot, I ain't got nowhere else to go, bro. I can't, you know, all right, well, I'm gonna go back to the south side, but I ain't what I'm going back to. So I just stayed, you know what I'm saying? I just stayed. I took it. My boy John Demps, love him to death, you know, got in trouble with me too. End up doing way worse stuff than me. And Herb gave him chances, but you know, man, we in punishment. He just walked out like, hey, bro, I ain't doing this no more. I'm like, bro, I can't go home. So, you know, I'm gonna have to stick this one out, bro. No more what y'all want me to do. So I just took that mindset, man, and do and then do I get, you know, why dudes come out and say bad stuff about it? I get it. But I also understood the flip side of, you know, him trying to win and try to build a program. Like, hey, man, you know, he need dudes all in. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, he trying to win fast. He trying to win now. He ain't trying to wait 3, 4 years. He 1, 2 years. He trying to win. So, and I wanted to win. All I care about is winning. So hey, you want to win? This what you saying we got to do? Then I'm gonna do it, and he's proved it.
Listen, I guarantee you this, and I can't prove this. And the voice you're hearing right now is Lewis Murphy Jr., two-time BCS national champion. Spent a bunch of years in the league now doing this thing with Tropical Smoothie. Make sure you guys get over there and get you one. But Tropical Smoothie Cafe, by the way. But I got to say this. I know this happened, though. Your daddy talked to Urban just one-on-one. I guarantee you Urban said, is there anything I can do to make him come home? We go, my son, hell no. My son? No. If he comes home, it's because they got a break. My son will not come back to St. Pete because he couldn't make it. If I know who I raised, no. He said, Urban, nothing against you, bro. You ain't me now. Because you get him because he talented. He's mine. Like that's my DNA. And to me, that's what makes you so unique, man. Nobody will ever know about Southwest. Man, you probably go on campus. You don't go this way. Wow, don't go by Southwest. Go down. Go another way. I don't even drive by there. This place get on my neck. But Urban made a decision though. He said there are certain players that make coaches. Meaning, yeah, I get it. Urban, Tebow, Percy, probably I get it. Brandon, I get it. But you were the one that said, look, man, I'm gonna need somebody to speak on my behalf one day too, because Lewis really got to know me. Like I get the football player. Now, if he gonna show me who he is as a person, I'm gonna show him who I am as a person. We just have to be coach and player. And when y'all hoisting up two natties, man, when you holding them, you saying, bro, it means something different. I get it. It means something to all of us.
Yeah.
I had to earn this, boy. I might not. I mean, you gotta give us that crystal ball back. I'm gonna give it back to you, but bro, I'm telling you, I had to really earn it. Really earn it.
Man, when Herb handed me that trophy, man, and I looked in his eyes, man, and we both started tearing up, man, it was emotional, man, because one, he had, I went from that, kind of like the story of Joseph, man, from the pit, the prison to the palace, you know what I'm saying? I went through all of those with Herb and became a captain, you know what I'm saying? And had the voice to the locker room. So, it was very prophetic, man, and spiritual, you know, and Herb cursed my parents out, you know what I'm saying? Like bad. And and he has no recollection of it. Talking to him about it, he don't even recall, that. But, one thing that also drew me and Herb closer was Herb mom passed of breast cancer. And then my mom was going through breast cancer at the time. And she ended up passing my senior year of college. So by that time I had got through all the BS. I had a great junior year. He talked to me about staying, and and coming back for senior year to host up the trophy at the end of the year. And I did that, because just talking with him and knowing where I had came. See, there's a lot of dudes who can't forgive people. You know what I'm saying? I know the stuff that did was kind of borderline pushing it, but man, there was stuff that I did wrong too. So I wasn't innocent either. And everybody want to be innocent when it comes to these making mistakes, man, and you just got to own it. And so me and her developed a relationship, man, that, we talked, about 2 weeks ago, you know what I'm saying? Just about like checking up on, he checked up on me. I ain't, and so yeah, man, it's, and then for the world to see it all come together, man, I'm excited to see the Netflix series, man, and see how they highlight it and see what goes on, man. But we was trained, we was some trained soldiers, man. Herb had us, because the mental side of things, man, like you push guys mentally, it's all in the mind, man. As a professional athlete, dog, if your mind ain't right, bro, you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So he pushed us mentally to a limit that I've never been pushed, and that I don't even think is allowed anymore.
No.
Well,
I'm looking forward to seeing it. But even listening to you, Murph, his mom died of breast cancer. Your mama died of breast cancer. Yeah. You the son of a Marine. He studied Marine.
Yeah.
Most coaches, and Mike Tomlin said this about Pittsburgh, he said, man, we become coaches because we didn't make it as players. Like, I can admit that. He said, I didn't make it as a player. In a sense, right? You were Urban. He like, look, man, what would I say to me if I'm a player? His name is Lewis Murphy Jr. This boy, in his mind, to me, he's saying, if I don't make sure this boy make it, I'm not a good coach, man. Because he got the X and O. We know he got out there on the field, he got that. But hell, he got people like you. It ain't like he coaches slouches. He know who to recruit. But you just said out of all them guys that came in 2005, most of them didn't make you like, bro. Listen, he might didn't recruit me, but I'm staying. Yeah. I might be coming back from a football camp in Florida State, and then the coach say, "Where you at?" Hey man, I'm coming back to Florida State. Come on up here. Let's offer you real quick. It's like, to me, he saw himself in you and said, "Boy, I'm gonna give myself. I just happen to be named Lewis Murphy Jr. I happen to be from St. Petersburg. I'm not gonna let this boy." Because to me, if you would have came to his office and told him, "Man, I'm leaving," I don't even want to know what that would have done to him. If you was, I ain't doing this no more. Because that's the part that we don't give. Coaches got 85 guys to watch. 85. 85, 18 to 22-year-olds who all think we all the man coming from where we coming from. But he said, I got this young man who he mirrors me in so many ways, except he's athletic. I didn't get that.
That's funny that you say that, man, because I had that conversation with Herb. I told him I was leaving, man, and he pulled up the keys, man. You know what keys at?
Yeah.
He pulled up the keys because I had did everything he told me to do, and that's a whole nother, I guess, I really don't want to tell that story, but it's true. I had, that's why I didn't really want to do the Netflix thing, man, because it's so many true stories that I do have, and it's tough to talk about it because you got to have faith. If you don't have a belief in God, there's no real rhyme to the reason. Like, nobody in their right mind, after what I've been through, would have stayed at Florida. There's no way, because going into my junior year, after doing the punishment, basically 2 years of punishment, freshman and sophomore year, just every punishment all the time. Going into my junior year, think about it. Dallas left, Kenneth Tukes left, Jameer Cornelius was gone, Chad Jackson was gone. All we had was Bubba left, but then they brought in Riley Cooper. And Riley was a highly sought after, wide receiver. So Riley's coming in, he had been there for a year. So, and it's all documented. So that sophomore year going to junior year, we had a spring game, orange and blue game. And there was nothing, I had trained so hard and been through so much punishment that it was like, bro, this is my time. It's junior year. It's going to be me, Bubba, Percy, starting. I'm going to be at the Z. Bubba going to be at the X. Percy going to be in the slot. So, and Herb told me, well, he didn't tell me. I told myself I'm going to break the Florida Gator record, spring game record. Like, I'm going to go for 300 yards. Like, I'm going to go crazy. Like, Plexico Burris had came to the game because Plexico Burris was like Percy, big homie.
Yeah, they both from Virginia, the Virginia boys, yeah.
So we in the tunnel about to come out, and I see Plex. So me and Plex, I had met Plexico through Percy and Bubba after we won the national championship 06. That was my sophomore year. We went down to Miami. There was I think it was the Colts and
the Bears.
Yep. And that's when Tony Dungy won his first Super Bowl.
Smith. Yep.
On a rainy night, leaving, when Buck sent him in the rain, packing his stuff up. So being a Bucks fan and wanting to go down there. So Percy said, man, let's jump in the car. Let's go down there. We just won that championship in January. So the Super Bowl's in February, is in the January at the time, February. We go down there, meet Plexico Burris, hang out with him. We hit it off instantly. You know what I'm saying? Because when we walked into his big crib in Miami, big picture of his mom, big painting up. And I said, man, who's that? He says, my mom. My mom passed away. I said, for real? I said, man, my mom going through breast cancer now. So we hit it off. Fast forward to the spring game in April, Plex come down and he like, uh, Murph, what you gonna do, man? I'm turning around, I see his hand, like, man, big homie, I'm about to go crazy. And I asked him, I said, what you did in your spring game? He said, like, he said, one, I killed Florida. I think he had
Oh
167.
yeah, he went in that bowl game. I think it was the Citrus Bowl, man. Who was at Michigan State? Yeah, he was a bad boy.
So yeah, so I was like, well, I said, whatever you gonna do, I'm gonna double it. You know what I'm saying? So we come out first half. I hit him for 100. I'll never forget 138 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. I was killing. Come to me halftime. I said, no, I'm playing the whole game, coach. I was like, he's like, no, you done, you done, you done. You're not playing no more. I said, coach, I'm playing. I got 138, 2 touchdowns. I'm going for 300. I was like, man, can't nobody stop me. He was like, nah, he's like, nah, you a starter. You a starter. So I'm like, all right, cool. So boom, I take my stuff off, I'm chilling on the side, and we can look this up. This is all stats, the Gainesville, they gonna
Yeah,
keep them numbers.
yeah.
So he comes publicly. I still got the article in my desk to this day. He goes publicly and says, hey, Lewis Murphy has earned a starting job at the University of Florida. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, now I'm turning up. Now I'm like, I'm so in the word. I'm so focused. He's like, I ain't no spring break, no nothing, no going home. I'm in the gym every day, running routes with Tebow. You know what I'm saying? This Tebow first year starting. I'm like, bro, we about to run it up. Me and Tebow throwing routes at midnight, 1 in the morning. It's just me and him. Just me and him all time. You can ask him. I call Tebow more than he called me. Hey, bro, let's throw some routes. So we get ready. We get in the training camp this time now. First game coming up, man. I'm ready to go, boy. I'm like, we got deep posts built up, everything. Coach Billy Gonzalez come to me in my locker, put his hand on my shoulder. Everybody getting ready, you know what I'm saying? I done earned my starting job. Ain't no turning back. He done went public. I got the article. Coach G said, hey, man, we not going to start you today. We going to play Riley Cooper. And when I tell you, down, like, I think Percy would have transferred. I think Bubba wanted to leave. I think it was such a hurt feeling, dog, that like, man, I got straight A's. I done did everything you asked me to do. I don't know. I can't see myself. I don't know if it's still on.
I can hear you. Keep going. I can hear you. I can hear you.
So yeah, man. So it was like a hurt feeling, man. It was and we played Western Kentucky. I'll never forget it. All the plays that was supposed to go to me went to Coop. He had 150 yards and like 3 touchdowns. And it broke me, man. And we end up, you know, this is crazy because I was like, man, I don't want to talk about this, but
No,
you
it's all
know,
good, man. I mean, listen, number one, Murph, man, I appreciate you just venting about it. I think
yeah,
the one thing about being former players, man, they think that, they think that we don't got feelings and we don't feel stuff. Like, look, man, this
yeah,
stuff bothered me. Especially because no one knew if no one knew what I did, Herb knew I did everything he told me to do. I did every single thing he told me to do. And what hurts the worst is if you want Riley to play over me, cool. You tell me though. Don't send
yeah,
Coach G.
yeah.
Don't
Don't
send
see,
him to do it. I
yeah,
see you trying to keep it because if roles were reversed, you would want me to come to you. And I've
yeah.
grown a lot to come to you and with everything we've had in the past for you to send Coach, because that put Coach G in a very, very awkward situation. Why
Man,
would you say?
Coach G had tears in his eyes, man, and it was so tough, man, to stand on the sideline and watch that, man. And so back to my pops, man, always wisdom, man. So he told me, he said, look, I understand Monday practice, you better go out there ready for the game. You better go through every drill harder than you ever went before. You better go crazy. Like I'm talking about, you better have so much energy and you better go in there and don't act like it phased you at all. So I went out there, went to practice, man, and I'm grinding. I'm going through all the drills. Coop dealing with a turf toe, supposedly. So he ends up taking like he the whole practice he's standing on the side. I don't know. Can you see me?
I can't see you, but I can hear you though. You good? You good? I can hear you.
Yeah, I just don't want to.
You all good? You all good? No worries. No worries. We got you. Long as
Yeah,
that
yeah.
audio good. Long as that audio good.
So, man, Coop standing out there, man, with and Coop my boy. So I ain't,
Yeah.
I'm not hating on him. Like I know it's not his decision. You know what I'm saying? No, he didn't put himself in there. So, um, we going through drill 7-on-7. I'm back starting. Everything starting. Everything I'm starting. We had this thing called ones versus ones, like basically like not one-on-ones receiving DB, but ones versus ones, like number one offense versus number one defense. And it's the last period of practice. It's early in the week, so we get after it. You know what I'm saying? Like coach might give a situation. Hey, everybody on the side, we got refs out there. We need, it's a minute 10 to go in the game. We need a touchdown, whether it's 2-minute drill or just, moving the ball, trying to get a touchdown on a field goal. So I'm been grinding. Coop ain't practiced all practice, man. I'm talking about just standing with his cleats untied. So I see him tying his cleats up. And then I jog out there and Coach G grabbed my wrist and tell me, hey, no, don't go in. Coop, go in. And when he said that, dog, I mean, I lost it, bro. I took my shoulder pads. I threw them from field 1 probably to field 3. I threw my helmet all the way across the field. And I ran to the locker room, boo, crying like a little baby. And I just said, bro, I'm gone. I'm out of here, dog. Like, I can't do it, man. Like, I done did everything. There's no way possible, you know what I'm saying, that this can happen. It just seems surreal to me. And yeah, so I went to the dorm room, called my pops, and my pops always said, man, and I guess it's a Marine term, come through in flying colors. When you come through in flying colors, you could call me. If you don't come through in flying colors, don't ever call me. You know what I'm saying? So then I called and I said, Pops, I've been through flying colors. I don't know what else to do but leave. You know what I'm saying? And then to your point, I called Herb, man, and told him I'm gone. Shoot, Herb pulled up to the crib like 9:30 that night. And I told him what happened. He was oblivious to it, didn't know. In his mind, he didn't know. So I give him credit for that. But then he told me to come back to practice and don't worry about it. And I trusted him on that. We played Troy the next game. I had 6 catches for 99 yards, and the rest was history. I started ever since. So I don't know, what happened or what was what, but it was clear who was the better player, but I don't know, what happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was that. And I don't think people could handle that, dog. Like people can't
No,
handle
no, no. Just listen to it. But think about what you did though. Urban didn't know what was going on. Coach
it.
G getting caught up in the politics of college football. All he see is you running off the field, boo-hoo crying with no jersey. All you got on is your pants and your cleats. He thinking, man, what the hell is going on? Right?
Yep.
But then sometimes you got to show a coach how much you love this game. Hey, bro,
Yep.
I love it enough to walk away. Like I can't do it. I can't do it like this. Only
Yeah.
because most of these boys only do what everybody does: go lift, go run, go eat, go to OSL, whatever. No, man, I had to fight my way back for this. I had to
Yep.
literally get up, be here at 5 a.m. because I got to be here by 5:30. I got to work. I got to pay my parents back. And you mean to tell? And I like how you said this ain't against Riley Cooper now. That's the homie.
Yeah.
But if you in the way, you in the way. It
Yeah.
ain't nothing against him. But I
Yep.
appreciate you being open and honest about the fact that Urban came to the dorm room. Man, I'm coming to what? Man, I know where you at. Because him looking you in your face, see what you did when you told him the truth about what happened with your charge is what he did when you told him, hey, bro, nothing against you, coach, nothing against Coach G, nothing against the team. I ain't doing this. I ain't going
Yeah.
back out there when I know I don't need nobody holding my wrist telling me I ain't playing. What you mean I ain't playing? No, you don't play when you hurt. That's when you
Yeah.
don't tell me I'm not playing. But I will say this, Murph. You
Yeah.
got listen, boy, you got a hell of a spirit, man. You got a hell of a daddy too, man. Cause
Yeah.
your daddy give it to you simple and plain. Look, man, I know who you are. I know who I raised. So
Yep.
don't call me. You like, well, Dad, I can say, yeah, you can. I just, boy, forget what you did in Florida. I saw what you did growing up on the South. I know you.
Yep.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, man, I'm happy
Yeah.
that listen,
It
I'm
up.
not happy that everything that happened to you. I'm happy that it
Yeah.
happened for you.
Yeah, man, for
Because
real, man. That's deep, man. That's deep. It happened for me, man. And you know, Coop ended up getting his. You know what I'm saying? I got mine. It was,
yeah,
and that's what I tell kids about transferring, like with the transfer portal. Like, bro, you can't talk to me about transferring, dog. Like, there's nothing you can really tell me about transferring if you ain't came through in flying colors. Like, it's old school, but it's real though. Like, if you ain't came through in flying colors, bro, it ain't nothing to talk about. All these kids want to hit the portal, lead this, coach said something to them, all that. Bro, I done been through all that, bro, and some. You know what I'm saying? I even told her, I said, Herb, I got the article where you said I'm the starter. Like, I had it with me.
I'm gonna show you the proof now.
I pulled it out. It was Cam Newton's first spring game. Cam threw for 270 some yards. Tebow did great too as well. You know, I was the standout leading receiver in one half of ball. Like, it was nothing there like, bro, like, I don't know what else to tell you. He told me to come back to practice, and then shoot, it wasn't that. It was definitely weird with Coop, you know what I'm saying? But we shared time. I started, but he would get his in, but it all worked itself out, man. And
It did.
you know,
It
it's
did.
just it's good. It's great to be a Florida Gator, man.
It
To
is.
say the least. You
Listen,
know what I
it
mean?
definitely is. I know Swamp King is coming out here soon on Netflix. I'm just happy that you gave us some time today, Murph, because what I be wanting people to see when it comes to people like yourself is, I say, yeah, you root for him to play. I want you to root for the man. He trying to show you why. Boy, I'm interested. You just figured out who I was because I can dance with that ball out there on that field now. But I'm a person underneath all this. I know. Listen, man. May Mom Dukes rest in peace, man. You come from a
Appreciate
hell of a family, man. I mean, when I see Raiders, Panthers, Giants, Bucks, 49ers, Orlando Apollos, no, man, that fails in comparison to the individual. And now, more importantly, father, right?
that.
Businessman, Tropical Smoothie Cafe on the south side, St.
Yeah.
Petersburg. If you listen, all you got to do is look for all the Tampa Bay Rays baseball players. They're gonna be all over there, getting their on. But Lewis, man, Lou, just know this, man. I'm rooting for you in life, man, and I'm happy at
Likewise.
the fact that your daddy was a Marine. Because I'm telling you, it takes the son of a Marine to endure what you've endured, but it takes a hell of a man, to keep paying it forward. I was always told you got 3 stages, man. You got the learning stage, you got the earning stage, and you got the returning stage. You will earn based on what you learn, but now based on what you learn and what you earn, you will return. I appreciate you returning
Yes.
back to the south side, giving it back to the same place that gave it up to you, man. And I appreciate you.
Man, thank you, man. Thanks for having me, man. It's always a pleasure, man, to jump on with you. The OG, man. It's always a pleasure, man. And I pray nothing but blessings for you and your podcast, man. I'm actually thinking about starting one. Uh, so definitely have to have you
Of
on.
course, you already know who you are. I don't know who your first guest gonna be, but I'm definitely gonna be one of them. That's all.
Have,
You already
have
know.
you have you played fantasy football?
I have played fantasy football before. Yes.
This is my first year playing fantasy this year, man. So I'm kind of going to try to document it, during the podcast. Man, I might need some tips, man.
I
On
got you. Listen,
uh,
I'm not gonna give you the Mr. Barnett tips, but I got some tips for you though.
hey,
Lou,
yo,
man,
man. Yeah.
listen, it's a humble pleasure, man, chopping up with you, man. I got to get down to St. Pete, man, to just come up, just
Anytime.
to see you in person, boy. Listen, keep doing what you're doing. Long live Lewis Murphy Jr.
Yep.
If you don't know nothing else, man, know that I know. Listen, I ain't do for you what Urban did for you, but you got a brother over here, man. Anything you need, man, just holler
Yeah.
at me. I'm a phone call away.
Yeah. And I'm gonna text you too, man. Just I need to get up to Gainesville and catch a game, man. You gonna catch a game this year?
I got you. I'm looking to get up to one, man. Let's try to make it the
Let's
same.
try to link up. Let's try to
All right.
link up, man. All right,
He
man.
is
Have a
Lewis
blessed one, man.
Murphy. Yes, sir. He is Lewis Murphy. I am being true. This is the 84 Reasons, the latest installment. Make sure that Netflix special coming out on the 22nd, Swamp Kings. This man was a part of the glory years, 2006, 2009. He got there in 2005. He is Lewis. I am being. We both Florida Gators for life. If you're not a Gator, it don't matter no way. And we out of here.